Virginia 1861, an officer was giving his own 21-year-old daughter to 3 generals, until one night. In the harsh winter of 1861, the city of Richmond, Virginia, witnessed one of the most disturbing episodes of the early years of the American Civil War. Colonel Harold Whitmore, a respected officer in the Confederate Army, was the protagonist of events that shocked even a society accustomed to the brutalities of war. Whitmore was 53 years old when the events began to unfold. He was known for his unwavering loyalty to the Southern cause and for his impeccable military service during the first battles of the conflict. A widower for 5 years, he was raising alone his only daughter, Sarah Whitmore, a 21-year-old young woman of extraordinary beauty and refinement. You are watching Uncle Thomas's Cabin Channel, the only place where stories are told without filters. Leave your like and comment saying from which country you are watching us. Subscribe now to receive more interesting content like this. The Confederate headquarters in Richmond housed several high-ranking officers that winter. Among them, 3 generals who became central figures in this story: General Thomas Bradshaw, General William Rothschild, and General Edward Montgomery. All powerful, influential men with political connections that extended to the Confederate government itself. What Richmond society did not imagine was that Colonel Whitmore had made a secret agreement with these 3 generals. In exchange for promotions, political favors, and protection for his military career, Harold allowed his own daughter Sarah to maintain private meetings with each of the generals. Sarah was a cultured young woman, educated in the finest schools for young ladies in Virginia, and dreamed of marrying a suitor of her own choosing. However, after her mother's death, she became completely dependent on her father, who controlled every aspect of her life with absolute authority, typical of that era. The meetings took place in the Whitmore residence itself, an imposing mansion in the center of Richmond. The colonel organized elaborate dinners, always ensuring that Sarah was present and impeccably dressed. After meals, he would discreetly withdraw, leaving his daughter alone with each of the generals on alternating nights. The situation was kept in absolute secrecy, with only a few household servants aware of what was happening. Harold Whitmore justified these meetings as social gatherings necessary for the advancement of his career, and Sarah, without alternatives or resources of her own, felt imprisoned in that suffocating reality. Some theories attempt to explain Colonel Whitmore's motivations. Documents from that time suggest he was desperate for a promotion to the rank of general, something only the 3 officers could facilitate through their influence. Other records indicate that Whitmore had made strategic errors in previous battles and feared a court-martial, using this degrading arrangement as a way to ensure protection. The situation remained hidden for almost 8 months, until on a cold night in October 1861, everything changed drastically. Sarah, after months of silent suffering and humiliation, made a courageous decision that would alter the course of events. During a dinner with General Bradshaw, Sarah managed to subtly poison the officer's drink with laudanum, a common medication of the time. The general became severely ill, but survived. Frightened by the consequences of her desperate attempt, Sarah fled from the mansion that very night, taking only a small suitcase and some of her mother's jewelry. Sarah's escape and the poisoning of General Bradshaw exposed the entire scandal. The officer, indignant and humiliated, publicly revealed the arrangements made with Colonel Whitmore. The other 2 generals initially denied participation, but witnesses and servants confirmed the facts. The scandal deeply shook Richmond society and reached the ears of the highest Confederate authorities. Colonel Harold Whitmore was immediately stripped of his military post and arrested, accused of immoral conduct, abuse of paternal authority, and conspiracy. The 3 generals faced investigations, but their political connections protected them from more severe punishments. Whitmore's trial lasted 2 weeks and was eagerly followed by the population. He was found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison, in addition to losing all his properties and titles. Sarah never appeared at the trial, having disappeared completely after her escape. Later rumors suggested that Sarah had managed to reach the North, where she lived under a false identity and eventually married a Boston merchant who never knew of her past. Harold Whitmore died in prison in 1864, a victim of typhus, without ever having seen his daughter again. The case was recorded in Confederate military archives as one of the most shameful episodes involving high-ranking officers, rarely mentioned in history books, but preserved as a dark reminder of the abuses of power that occurred even in times of war. Choose now one of these options that are appearing on your screen and continue with us. Until the next video.